But I'll do it. You see, Randy, Mr. Baku says that not every judgment debt is tainted with fraud or corruption. That is true. And I will not say that this judgment debt is tainted with fraud. But I can tell you that this judgment debt is tainted with criminal negligence and criminal recklessness. And that is why I am sad, sitting here as again, and that is why I'm heartbroken. Because we've been slapped with this $170 million judgment debt, which is accruing interest on a daily basis, compounded on a monthly basis. Because of the criminal negligence and recklessness of the Akufo-Addo government. They are the ones who have caused this huge financial loss to the state, and therefore must be held responsible. So yes, there may not be fraud, but there is criminal negligence and there is criminal recklessness. It is so clear that that is the reason why we are where we are. You see, there has been some attempts by the Attorney General, and Mr. Bako, some way, somehow, has rehashed some of those statements by the Attorney General, that the agreement which was signed, the emergency power agreement which was signed between ECG and GPGC was defective. The Attorney General says that it was structured in such a way that it imposed unnecessary financial liabilities on government. And he has even said that the agreement was unnecessary. Randy, that is not true. This agreement was very necessary. The execution of same under the Mahama administration was proper and regular. We were in the midst of a severe doomsday crisis, owing largely to a generational capacity shortfall that needed to be addressed. We had a lot of PPAs and EPAs at the time which had not materialized. And so the government had to deal with that power shortfall. And that is what led to the execution of some of these EPAs and PPAs. We needed the power. But the Mahama administration was not just interested in achieving an equilibrium between demand and supply, producing power to meet our immediate needs or power demand as a country. But we were forward-looking and even looking at the possibility of increasing our exportation of power to neighboring countries and other countries. Because since the 70s, we've been exporting power to Benin and Togo, Burkina Faso, and we had plans of even increasing that. So that is what informed the execution of this GPGC EPA. The agreement was not only ratified by cabinet, but agreement was ratified by Parliament on the 23rd of July 2015.
It was approved by Parliament.
It was approved by Parliament. It was signed on 3rd of June, and it was approved. And the memorandum to Parliament presented by the Minister, then Honorable Dr. Kwamina Donkor, is what is before me, with the agreement attached. Parliament as a house, with the MPP participating both at the committee level and also at the plenary, approved the agreement. So this post facto issues of the agreement was defective, the agreement was this, that is neither here nor there. Godfred Dame doesn't know better about power agreements than Matthew Poku Prempeh and members of the MPP on the Energy Subcommittee of Parliament, who all vetted this agreement and approved it both at the committee level and at the plenary. So let's talk that. Randy, I can tell you, I've gone through this document, that this GPGC agreement was one of the best, if not the best, that we executed. Yes.
I've heard the then Power Minister, Kwabena Donkor, say that the tariff for this agreement...
It was the cheapest. Yes. This is it. It was 4 cents. Capital recovery of 3.7 cents and fixed O&M charge of 0.3. Total capacity charge of 4. Car power was 5.6 cents per kilowatt hour. SEM power was 5.04 cents, US cents per kilowatt hour. This was 4 cents. Again, if you check all the other agreements, the duration was 5 years and above. Cap power was 10 years. This one was 4 years. Very short.
What did the agreement to Parliament say about the duration?
It was 4 years.
4 years.
I can read that to you.
Okay.
Then apart from the
Because
duration...
who was reading, I thought I heard something like reviewed PPA.
Oh, it's here. I will show you.
Which means that subsequent...
Because that report is of dubious validity, and I'll come to that.
Okay, let's go on.
That report is of dubious validity. Mr. Bab, look, apart from that, under this agreement, this was the only EPA, or one of the few, that government of Ghana was not supposed to provide financial security in the form of guarantee. Okay. So it was very easy for us. And it was very cheap. We executed it. It went for cabinet. It went to cabinet for approval. It went to parliament for approval. Nothing improper was done. You came into office in 2017. And then you decided to terminate the agreement. And the letter of termination, which is dated 13th February 2018, a copy of which I have here, didn't make reference to any issue of excess capacity charge as a reason for termination.
So this is the letter to the company.
To the company.
So
by Boakye Agyarko,
so this letter,
which he says he wrote on the orders of cabinet chaired by President Akufo-Addo. So you see why you can't blame just Boakye Agyarko.
Because you see, at the end of the day, all the commentary about what is wrong with the agreement, as far as the termination and arbitration is concerned, is inconsequential.
Yes.
What is important is this letter.
The grounds for the termination.
Because this letter gives the grounds for termination.
Exactly.
And it is on the basis of this letter that the company will go for arbitration.
Exactly. And Randy, in this termination, they gave about 3 reasons for the with this letter. They gave about 3 reasons for the termination. They said that the company had failed to fulfill certain conditions subsequent.
Right.
The agreement said within 30 days after the agreement becomes effective, the company is supposed to fulfill certain conditions subsequent. Government of Ghana said, look here, you've not fulfilled. So the EPA is null and void. Then some of those conditions were that you were supposed to get a license from the Energy Commission in accordance with Section 11 of the Energy Commission Act to allow you to engage in the sale of electricity in Ghana. Our check shows that you don't have that license as at the termination date. You were supposed to get siting and construction permits for your plant. We've checked, you don't have, even though you've built something, you don't have permits. You were supposed to achieve financial closure by 3rd August 2018. We've checked, you don't have financial closure. You've not achieved that. These were the reasons.
So if these were the 3 reasons given in the letter,
yes. The termination letter. This is what it says. In accordance.
Do you have the AG's advice?
Yes, I will make reference to that. He talks about the fact that the plant was used.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me say a clarification from Koku. The AG's advice, did it precede the termination letter, or was advice after the termination?
No, what's the date?
What's the date of the termination letter?
13th February 2018.
No, the AG letter came late. The AG's letter is August 2018.
So that's, I'm going there.
Just a minute. So it suggests that
28th August 2017.
Yes.
Okay.
So it was before.
So most definitely, the AG's advice was advice to government.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
And that would form the basis for the termination.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But the termination letter itself,
this is the termination given to the company. The AG's advice will not be given to the company. The AG's advice will be relied on by. Yes. So as far as the company is concerned, what is indicated in the letter as the basis for termination is really what the issue is.
That's what they are challenging. And this is what it says.
If you go to the arbitration, the defense will then have to
include more things. And I will come to order. It says, the letter says, in accordance with the terms and conditions of the agreement, the agreement should not have become effective on 3rd August 2015, except the parties mutually extend the period for the fulfillment. Should have become effective on 3rd August 2015, except the parties mutually extend the period for the fulfillment of the conditions precedent to the effectiveness of the agreement. Following a review of the agreement and the project, we know that the parties have not mutually extended the period for the fulfillment of the conditions precedent.